That's the lesson that you take from this. Don't ever, ever, ever give up on someone.
When it comes down to it, it's a very difficult sport.
I enjoy the people that are here.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Welcome to Community Close-Up. I'm Joe Nelson. Today we hit the road and show you how bikers are coming together to support the troops. Without the motorcyclists are taking advantage of a new program to stay healthy and enjoy the outdoors. And with tuition rates rising each year, we'll show you how an after-school program made a Coon Rapids student's dream come true. But first, wedding season is in full swing. This summer, the Anoka County Historical Society is inviting everyone to walk down the aisle to get a glimpse of how families say I do. Community Close-Up's Jenny Yu shows us the museum's latest exhibit, Bells and Bows.
Like most couples who commit to having to hold from this day forward, these local couples did it with style in mind.
Anything related to weddings we're bringing out from the 1880s all the way up to today.
Vicki Wendell is the program manager at the Anoka County Historical Society.
These come from families from all over Anoka County. Some of them are still here, rooted deeply in the county, have been here for the last 150 years.
At Bells and Bows, the wedding dress collection dates back to the 1880s.
Well, in the 1800s, Queen Victoria really kind of started the rage with a white wedding dress, but it wasn't something too many people could afford. It was very lavish.
That's why in 1884, this navy blue dress was not considered a wedding faux pas.
Most women got married in their best dress. So eventually we get to the 20s and we have a pink silk flapper style dress. That was her wedding dress. That was what she chose because colors were fun and colors were easy. In the 20s, it was a little less expensive than other things.
Then to the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Now we're really getting hung up on white dresses, and everybody wants a white dress, whether you have money or not. So there's many styles that are both elaborate and expensive, and there's some that are very simple and homemade.
But it was also a time when future grooms were at war.
And during World War II, of course, there were many weddings where he wore his uniform because there was a shortage of a lot of things that were rationed during the Second World War, and it was impractical, so they just wore their suit. We've also got one story that talks about how World War II era wedding, the one who was getting married had asked her bridesmaids, and nobody had money or availability really to get a new dress, so her bridesmaids wore their wedding dresses as their bridesmaids' dresses for her wedding.
Also from the 40s through the 2000s, a special wedding dress donation from 3 generations of women from Columbia Heights.
All 3 of the brides have now donated their wedding dresses to us, so we have grandma, mom, and daughter, all from Columbia Heights, all with their wedding dresses.
And from Coon Rapids, a wedding in 2014 featuring a purple wedding gown.
And now we start to find brides saying, wait a minute, I don't want only the bridesmaids to have all the fun with a pretty colored dress. I want a colored dress.
And while many things have changed from generation to generation, including the style of wedding dresses, a lot has stayed the same, including the tradition of having cake toppers, wedding bouquets, and of course making sure the bride feels beautiful on her wedding day.
It's a way to appreciate how things have changed, how families have changed, or maybe they haven't changed. And that's important to note too, that we still hold on to those things. How many people don't have a wedding dress or a wedding veil or a baptismal gown from a baby stashed away in a chest somewhere? It's something we all do, and this way they can share it.
For Community Close-Up, I'm Jenny Yu.
On July 11th, the exhibit will officially open with a wedding reception. It's open to the public and there will be cake and lemonade, and guests are encouraged to wear their best or worst bridesmaid dresses, and there's even a prize at the end. Still to come, a Coon Rapids High School student shares how a mentoring program led to college, a career, and a husband. Stay with us.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
The price of college tuition continues to rise, and many are forced to decide between massive student loan debt or a change in plans. We met a Coon Rapids woman who found a way to follow her dream with the help of some coaching along the way. At a young age, Kaylina Riendo had big plans.
Going into high school, I wanted to attend a 4-year college, graduate, get my bachelor's degree, eventually go get my master's degree at a university somewhere. I would be the only one in my immediate family to graduate from a 4-year school.
To make that happen, she first had to be accepted. After seeing her Coon Rapids High School counselor, she learned about an after-school program called College Possible that works with students from high school through college.
Going into my sophomore year when College Possible came, I knew that this was an opportunity that I really needed to take advantage of. So my junior year, we worked specifically on ACT testing, and I had test anxiety in high school, so I knew I needed all the help I can get. I took my first ACT test and I got an 18, and that was our practice exam. I went into my coach and I asked, what can I do to earn a better score? He sat down with me for the whole entire week, every day after school, and I received a 22 on my first test. I actually had applied to Bethel. I applied to 4 other schools as well. I got accepted. When I received my Bethel financial aid package, I realized it would not be enough for me to attend.
Program manager Jarrell Skinner-Roy says College Possible has delivered positive results.
On average, our students increase their ACT scores by about 23%, which is fantastic. Professional companies usually advertise like 12 to 14%, so to see an average increase of around 23% is fantastic.
With tuition and fees topping $30,000 a year at Bethel University in St. Paul, earning a few $500 scholarships wouldn't be enough.
I talked to my mom and she asked me, okay, let's take away the financial piece of it. What school do you really want to go to? And I said, well, I really want to go to Bethel. And she said, we're going to get you there, no matter what. We're going to figure it out.
Kaylina and her coach at College Possible did.
A huge barrier for low-income students and first-generation students is just, just the fear of not knowing how do I get to this place I want to go. And a big part of that is finances. Like knowing where to find scholarships to apply to, knowing the financial aid process, knowing what it means to fill out the FAFSA. There's just a lot of unknowns especially for students if their parents didn't go through this process.
Because of the scholarships that I had applied for with the help of my coach, the next day I received $6,000 in scholarships alone. For Bethel specifically.
We're able to be there to help support students through this process and help them identify scholarships they can apply to, help them figure out what they need to do exactly to fill out the FAFSA, what happens if they get verified, things like that, to help them like really figure out exactly what they need to do.
By finding, applying, and earning more than $23,000 worth of scholarships, she was able to attend Bethel and work towards a bachelor's degree in education. But the help didn't end there.
I usually received emails at least probably twice a month, but then they also called me, asked, you know, what are your grades like? Are you struggling with any classes? Making sure that I was on the track that I needed to be to pursue my degree.
Kaylina graduated last December.
I really needed an organization that would follow me all the way through and really help me get to where I wanted to be. And so without College Possible, I can honestly say that I would not have gone to Bethel. There's absolutely, I mean, it would have been very difficult coming out of 3.5 years of college and having all these loans. But with their help and their support, I was able to pay for Bethel. And so for that, like, I 100% credit them for it.
We know that about 80% of students from upper income families earn their degrees by their mid-20s, by 25. But if you look at low income students, that number is usually like around 8. But when we look at our College Possible students who have been through our program, we know that our students are 10 times more likely to earn their degrees than their low income peers, which is really a testament to our program and all the great work that our AmeriCorps members do for our students.
And after student teaching, she found a job in a familiar place.
One of my goals in high school is actually to come back to Coon Rapids. I really loved my experience here. I got really close to the teachers here. And so I thought, hey, this would be a good step to take, and I applied. I contacted my English teacher that I had in high school, and she was wonderful, and she put in a good word for me. Got an interview the next day, and I was hired the next week here.
Although strange at first, Kaylina says returning to her high school gave her a new opportunity to learn there.
You're a student for 4 years here, and then you're a teacher. You're teaching students that are really close in age to you, and then in addition to that, you're teaching next to teachers that you had in high school. So it was definitely, it was weird at first, but it was a really cool experience, and I really learned from it, and I was able to learn more from the teachers that I had in high school as well. So it was a really good experience for me.
Her time in college led to more than just a career, following a Bethel tradition.
Everybody gets married usually before they graduate or like right after college. I met my husband my freshman year of college at Bethel. I am a statistic. I got married right out of college. We stuck around the Twin Cities area, and now we're on this new adventure together.
She and Skinner Roy say they hope more students can realize what is possible.
I just encourage them to follow what they want to do and apply for any scholarships that you can. And also just really focus on your schoolwork.
We just really want to empower students to follow their dreams and give them the tools and resources so they can do that.
Kaylina recently accepted a new job as an English teacher at a middle school in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. She says although she's sad to leave her hometown, she's excited for the new opportunity. For more information on College Possible, head to their website at collegepossible.org. Up next, find out why more than 3,000 motorcycles rolled into the airport in Blaine. We'll be right back.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
For the first time in its 10-year history, thousands came to the Anoka County Blaine Airport not to fly, but to cruise. More than 3,200 motorcycles rolled in for the Patriot Ride, a benefit for military service members and their families. We met a few of those families who are more connected to the cause than they ever would have hoped.
When you see a lot of the military people lining the roadways with the flags and all the bikes that you're hearing here, and just it definitely puts a smile on your face and a chill up your spine just kind of seeing all the events that are going on today.
In a place reserved for pilots and propellers, the Anoka County Blaine Airport saw pipes and patriotism fill the air.
Today is our 10th annual Patriot Ride, sponsored by Dennis Kirk. One of the things is bringing a lot of members together to show honor, dignity, and respect to those military members and families that have sacrificed and committed to ensure our freedoms that we have on a day-to-day basis.
More than 3,200 bikers gathered at the airport to start a nearly 50-mile ride through Blaine, Forest Lake, Lino Lakes, and Circle Pines before returning for live music, helicopter rides, a raffle, and speeches. This year's Patriot Ride raised more than $100,000 for the Military Appreciation Fund, the tribute to the troops, and the Minnesota Patriot Guard, helping service members overseas, others wounded in action, and to show support at funerals.
It's one of those things to show here in the respect to those that have served, like I say, ensuring our freedoms to those people that have committed to it. But it's a way to give back to them. Since I did not serve, was not on the front lines, it's my way of giving back to them and showing the appreciation to those family members that have lost a loved one, either from any of the various different services or branches out there.
Diane Otto of New Prague came for the ride and to remember. Her son Dan joined the Navy in 2007 while troops were being sent to wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I'm a mom. I was kind of scared for him. It was what he wanted to do. I knew I had to let him do it.
Stationed in San Diego, Dan never saw combat, but never made it home.
He was supposed to be safe there. He wasn't. He went out for a motorcycle ride with a bunch of his friends and he didn't come back.
In need of support, Diane joined a group no family wants to be a part of.
I define my life now as before Dan died and then now after Dan died. So it's a life-defining moment. It changes everything in a blink of an eye.
Through the Gold Star Mothers, Diane met others who shared the same pain, like Mary Claire Lindbergh of Burnsville.
I had a son, Ben, who was a victim of military suicide on June 18th of 2008. He was in the Army. He was in 101st Airborne, and he was on his second tour of duty in Iraq when he lost his life.
The support is amazing. It's unconditional. They get it. You know, I can call somebody if I'm having a bad day. I can cry. I can scream. I can have a temper tantrum. I can do whatever I want, and they understand that, and they don't look down at me, and they never want to know when I'm going to be over it, because you're never over something like this. It's there the rest of your life. You get through it. You deal with it the best you can.
This is the family that gets it.
They are my family. This is one big family that nobody wanted to be in, but we're all here, and together we're stronger because we support each other. So I can't say it enough, it's amazing. The support and the love, and it's wonderful to see.
Patriot Guard members who live and work in Coon Rapids say it's a day to thank those who served, enjoy the area, and help military families.
I'm a Vietnam vet, and I know what it was like when I came home, and I think that we finally realized as a country how important those folks who are willing to give their lives for our country, how important they are to us. And so this event really acknowledges that and honors that.
It's a great way to, like I say, show the honor, dignity, respect to those people that here, again, have served our country to ensure our freedoms that we have that sometimes get taken for granted.
With every bike that hits the road, Diane and Mary see how their son's efforts haven't been forgotten.
This is one of my favorite rides of the season.
I'm welled up inside with joy, excitement, just knowing in anticipation of the day and just watching what happened today. It's unbelievable. It's hard to put emotion to it, but there's a lot of it.
It's emotional. It's heartwarming. It's nice to see that there's this much support for what our guys over there are doing. But yeah, it's just amazing.
Organizers say they expect the Patriot Ride to return to the airport next year. To make a donation to support military families, go to mnpatriotguard.org. Still to come, why orange bicycles are being spotted on Coon Rapids trails and how you can get your feet on them. Stay with us.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Thanks for watching Community Close-Up. Because of a new program, Coon Rapids patients are staying active and exploring their own neighborhoods. We'll leave you with bikers rolling through the county, making use of trails and reintroducing an activity many left behind. I'm Joe Nelson. We'll see you next month.
It's just a beautiful day to do it.
David Cole has navigated his neighborhood on two wheels for the past 20 years and enjoys pedaling through the trails of Anoka County.
It's an easy thing to do. I mean, like they claim, you never forget riding a bike from when you were a kid, even if you haven't ridden it for 50 years.
This spring, he found out about an opportunity to ride a new bike, joining others hoping to stay active at no cost.
Having the loan of a $400 or $500 bike is quite a nice thing, and a lot of trust involved in it.
The new Wheel Being program through Alina Health and the Nice Ride Minnesota organization offers orange bikes to patients and employees to rent through the summer in Coon Rapids and Bloomington.
You are having a conversation about, what can you do to sort of improve your health on just a low impact, daily basis. And so the idea behind this is it's sort of like a prescribe a bike. If you can get out twice a week even on a short bike ride, that can do wonders for you. So we're working with them to provide that resource and make that available to people.
Wheel Being only requires users to pledge to ride twice a week and to make it to 4 group rides this summer.
It's just like such a simple activity that can bring such joy to get out on a weekend bike ride. I think the health benefits are obvious, but also the community building aspect. I think that's the one that people don't think of immediately. and maybe the one I'm most excited about, is really that there are people doing this together.
Wheel-Being Program Manager Paul Stucker says the cost of a new bike and going into the unfamiliar territory of bike shops keeps some away from riding on their own.
We've tried to think of those things ahead of time for you and take away that barrier of entry. So it's just about getting on the bike. That's the hardest part, it feels like, is just to get on it, to get through those steps.
It also offers a view of nature that often goes unnoticed behind a steering wheel.
They're kind of hidden until you are part of this community that seeks out these bike paths, but they're all around.
Stucker says new riders have spent years, if not decades, away from bikes or even much exercise.
More often than not, people have been away from biking for a while. And in some cases, since they were a kid. I think that's one of the things Nice Ride, green bikes or orange bikes, is really interested in challenging and sort of, upending, is that this idea that bikes are a kid's toy or something, and they really are a viable transportation option and an option for adults, whether it be health-based or transportation-based. So it's really exciting to see people come back to biking, and I feel like that sort of movement is gaining ground all the time.
There's a lot of people in my age range who don't probably do a whole lot, but there's some that they play golf or they do something, and I don't seem to get myself into that habit. So this is a good way to get some exercise for at least half the year anyway.
Although this year's program has started, Stucker says there are still spokes waiting to spin.
It's just so low risk to you. Even if you get in the program and you find it's not the right thing for you, the ask is really pretty low to get in. It's just that you're interested, you want to meet other people doing this program. Biking is something you've maybe been thinking about or maybe haven't thought about, but now here's this invitation. So take up that invitation and see how it benefits you.